What's up, guys? Happy Friday. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. As good as somebody on their way home to go paint for a bunch of hours can be. And then to do it again tomorrow. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. So, I'm sitting here watching paint dry. It's a lot of fun. So here's what I've got done so far. Got that wall. First coat done. Got there. Kind of got up there that you can see. Kind of got a little bit here. I still have to go around all these windows. Gotten over there, and then this wall here. The issue I'm having is there's so much furniture in this room. I'm kind of limited on the space that I can put it in. I could go put it all out on the deck, but I don't want to, because then I have to move it all back in. So I'm gonna get that wall done first, and then I'll get a second coat. And then we'll have to see where we're at that point, because I might have to just call it a night there and then move everything and get back against the wall tomorrow, and then get everything else tomorrow morning, which is probably where I'm headed as far as my thinking. Yeah. I didn't want to do another paint time lapse. What, you want another one? No, I'm not going to do another one. As exciting as they are, it's painting. So imagine it's white and now it's less white everywhere. But I'm trying to grab this without messing with the microphone. But painting kind of gives you some time to think. And I actually, when I say I don't like painting, I don't. But I do, like, you can kind of get into painting and kind of get in the rhythm. And, it's kind of nice. You can just kind of be with yourself and your thoughts when you're just painting by yourself. I think it's the getting started part is what's hard. So if you can get started, you're doing pretty good. But going through and painting, I've just been having some time to think, and thinking about stuff that definitely didn't anticipate talking about, or even I hadn't thought about it in a long time. So, but why not? This is a good place to be brave, to put myself out there a bit. So I was thinking about the summer back in college, and I actually worked for a painting company, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't the greatest job ever, but it wasn't too bad. You're just kind of outside painting. Nothing too hard. But it kind of got me thinking about when I got that job, like the interview and the hiring process, and kind of what that meant. And the question that I've been thinking is, what makes me me? Why am I the way I am? And, I think everybody's got a lot of factors onto why they are the way they are. Some positive, some negative. A lot of the things about who I am are definitely, the positives are from, the family I was raised in, the friends I had growing up, my faith, and later on in life, my wife, my kids. A lot of those kinds of things are positive, but, we also have things that kind of negatively affect us. And I was picked on when I was younger. Your red hair, everyone's gonna get made fun of. But, red hair, I was a bit overweight still then. I'm different. Just, the same reasons why everyone else gets picked on. Nothing too special. Just who I am. And thinking about it back on this experience when I was working for the painting company, I got the job as a roller, which, if you ask me, that's the best part of painting. You can go in, you can get a bunch you can done, like your work is the most visible. You can have a really big impact on the final look of things without as much work. Now, if you're the one going around cutting all the edges and doing all that stuff, like you can spend hours doing this stuff and it really doesn't look like you've made a lot of progress. Once that's been done, and so when I'm painting, rolling is still my favorite because, you can just you go fast and you see big results from it. So, that's not the issue. But the reason why I got designated the roller was because the guy who owned the company or whatever, he determined that based on my GPA that I couldn't handle a job like cutting. I could handle big dumb group responsibilities like covering big areas and not little detailed work and stuff like that. And I was thinking about it, I'm just like, that's pretty messed up, and like that kind of situation, and going back to my childhood when I was picked on and all that stuff. Those kinds of things definitely shape who I am right now. And I'd say not in a positive way. So, and so you look at it, you're like, well, why does that affect me? Looking back, it's not the bully's fault that, I'm not self-confident. It's not the bully's fault that, like I have a hard time being successful in stuff that I want to do. And I'm not trying to say that what they did or they do, every day, this happens every day to every, people all over the place. I'm not trying to say that it's okay, because it's definitely not. But the reason why those things affect me, still, the reasons why, being the roller affect me is because I believed it. It was something that, someone says something, you don't have to listen to it. It doesn't matter what someone else says. It's something that you have to accept. And so that's one of the weaknesses that I have, is I accepted that. They told me my place and I said, okay, that's my thing. This is who I am. And so, definitely not the stuff I was thinking about talking about on this, and a little sorry for being a little heavier, but I don't know, I was just thinking about it, and that kind of stuff has a huge impact on your life. How do we react to external stuff? It's definitely an emotional subject for me. Excuse me. It's an emotional subject for me, in pretty much every aspect of my life. I'm somehow affected by how I reacted to that. So, well, I don't like revisiting this stuff and thinking about it. I definitely don't like sharing this. Doing stuff like this is a step towards self-confidence. I'm putting this out there. I don't really want to, but I'm going to, because that's what I'm trying to do here. But that's, I guess, my question for you. What makes you who you are? What positive things can you pass on to the world? What negative things can you help get rid of? Or what negative things in your life are you working on correcting? I think the paint's dry enough. Second coat. Alright, so we got the second coat on. Looking nice. So yeah, we're gonna let this dry overnight, and then tomorrow I'll move all the furniture back over here. She'll be able to get behind the piano, all that. Move this bookshelf and get all that. So we'll see. Anyway, appreciate you guys for watching. Sorry for the, I don't know, felt like a downer a little bit in the middle there, but hopefully take it as positive. I am. Might not seem like it, but I am. Anyway, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Bye.